Hello, I just had to listen to David Bowie's latest single, and I was going to give a quick review of it, but also talk about David Bowie in general. I found it quite sort of melancholy. I enjoyed it, I liked it. I thought it sort of reminded me a bit of Station to Station in the sense that it was referring to Berlin, and I think it's also about the reunification of Berlin, which, you know, by this point actually happened 23 years ago, which is quite a long time. Yes, I thought the whole thing was actually quite good. It had a very sort of sad old feeling to it, which was positive in a positive way. That was quite appealing as well. I have been a fan of David Bowie. I don't know how big a fan I'd say I had been. Around the early 80s, I was really, really into him. I think that he's always ahead of his time. I think that he trend sets, or he used to trend set. I don't know if he still does, because obviously he's been retired for quite a long time now. And he also reinvents himself, and nobody, I don't think, really knows who he is or whether he's being the real person. The first single I can remember of his is Space Oddity, but that's on the re-release, not on the original release, because I was very young at that point. And I like that. I remember seeing it on Swap Shop when I was a child. Ziggy Stardust and the whole thing about the world disappearing in 5 years' time and that being the end of the world, that idea, I like that idea because that's how I feel about the world. Not that the world will end, but that you can imagine a time when we will realise that what we're doing to the planet is going to come back on us and destroy us. And in a sort of religious sense, somebody could come from space in order to save us, maybe by a really unorthodox means, such as even through music or poetry, something like that. And that's what I make of that. Oh You Pretty Things is something that really sticks in my mind because it is to do with, or it reminds me of, childhood's end and the idea that children are like a new generation that takes things over. And in a way, children really are aliens and the next generation that will take over the world. And we'll have to hand things over to them. So I think there's a sort of double meaning there. And it also reminds me of Childhood's End, as I say, but also of Olaf Stapledon's idea of the Superman, which is what influenced Arthur C. Clarke in writing Childhood's End. And I'm pretty sure that David Bowie is referring to Arthur C. Clarke there. Olaf Stapledon actually does use the words Homo Superior. There are other things. One neglected single that people don't think about very often is Up the Hill Backwards. Up the Hill Backwards is nihilistic, a bit like Modern Love. And the idea is that there's a vacuum created by the arrival of freedom and the possibilities it seems to offer. A sort of existential angst type thing going on there, and that's great as well. Besides that, you've got the later things such as Loving the Alien. That meant a lot to me in the summer of '85 when I was about to leave home. It was very interesting. I don't really know what to make of it. It's a sort of, there's often a sort of correspondence between religion and the idea of aliens, I think, in David Bowie. It's certainly in there, as it is in The Man Who Fell to Earth, of course. And we mustn't forget that he's also an actor, and he's been in various films, and he also in the film of Twin Peaks, which I didn't really get, of course. So, yeah, it's really great that he's brought another single out, and, but what he's given us already is a fantastic legacy, and, yeah, wow.